I am back. There was a bug in my daughter's room, and it was very frightening for her. I needed to take care of that, so. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we need to move on a little bit here. Now, we've started our converting these units of measurement. I hope you're with me and you're understanding how we do that. Remember the number rock lesson, the math antics lesson. If you need to go back and look at either one of those, you sure can. You can go back through my lesson for sure. Lessons, because it looks like I'm going to be posting like 3 videos. I'm sorry. I will cut back on other assignments for this day because we've got a little bit more math instruction. So just know that. Let's take a look at page 316 in your math workbook. It's just using the same way of thinking, what we've been looking over, but we're using it in some word problems. So if this wasn't crazy enough, now we're going to throw it into word problems. Yay! Okay, let's look at number 13. Jenny knitted a scarf that was 2 6/10 meters long. She made an identical scarf every month for 2 years. How many centimeters of scarf had she knitted altogether by the end of 2 years? Well, we've got some steps in this one, right? To answer the questions, we've got some different steps to go through. Let's go. We're going to do A through E. This will be just fine. Letter A says, how many meters of scarf did Jenny knit in 1 month? Okay. Well, it says that altogether by the end of 2 years. How many meters of scarf did Jenny knit in 1 month? So if we look back in the problem, it says that she made an identical scarf every month for 2 years. So that first month was identical. It was 2 6/10 meters long. Okay, that's what she did every month. So the first month, that was the same. It was to 2 6/10. So you're writing 2.6 or 2 6/10 for A. Okay, now let's answer B. It says, for how many months did Jenny knit? Well, it tells us that she knitted for 2 years. But now B is saying for how many months? So we've got to go from years to months. We can do that. How many months are in 1 year? 12. So how many months are in 2 years? 24. You got it. So put 24 for B. It says, how many scarves did she knit during that time? Well, going back through the problem, we can infer that she knitted 1 scarf every month. Okay, 1 scarf for every month. It says that she knitted a scarf that was 2.6 meters long. She made an identical scarf every month. So she did 1 scarf per month. So how many scarves did she do? 24. Did she knit, I should have said? 24. Okay, now D says, how many meters is that? How many meters is that? Well, 1 scarf is 2 6/10 meters long. So we know that she knit 24 scarves. So we need to do what sort of operation? Think about it. Multiplication, you got it. We need to multiply 2 6/10 times 24. So pause this video and work it out. 2 6/10 times 24. I would do 24 on the top, do my 6/10 on the bottom, 2 6/10. Either way, you got it. What's the property that says we can multiply in any order? That's the one. So multiply it out. Pause the video, come back, tell me what you got for your answer. Okay, if you got 62 4/10, then you are correct. I was going to do it on my board, but I think you got it right. 24 times 2 6/10 is 62 4/10. Okay. The next question says, how many centimeters of scarf did Jenny knit in 2 years? So our original question was in meters, but now they're saying, no. We know how many meters it was. It was 62 4/10, 62.4, but how many centimeters? Well, there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So if we multiply our answer for D by 100, then we can figure out our answer for E. Now, we don't exactly, there's my marker. We don't have to actually multiply by 100, right? We can just move our decimal point. So if I have 62 4/10, right, and I'm going to multiply by 100, that means I'm going to move my decimal point. I'm multiplying by 100. There's 2 zeros. And I'm multiplying, so I'm going to move my decimal to the right. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go 2 times because there's 2 zeros. I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, goes right there. Any blank spaces, I put in a 0. So my answer would be 6,000. I'm going to rewrite it so that you can see it. 6,240 centimeters. That's what we would put for E. Okay? Okay. Now these problems get a little bit harder as we go on. But what I'd like to do is actually do a few of the homework together, okay? So we're finishing up 8-1 today. The homework side. Okay. Okie dokie. We're going on number 1. It says 75 centimeters equals how many meters? Remember that there is 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Okay. So if I am converting from centimeters to meters, we're actually going to divide by 100, which means that we're moving our decimal point the other way here. So I've got 75 centimeters, and there's 100 centimeters. Oops, this is where I want my blank to go. There's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So, to get from 100 to 1, I'm going to divide by 100. So I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to divide by 100. Okay, so let me get rid of this part really fast. If I'm dividing by 100, I'm going to move my decimal to the left 2 times because there's 2 zeros. So here's this, and I'm going to go 1, 2. So my answer right here would be 75 hundredths meters. Actually, let me put my 0 right there. I've got to have good math manners. Okay, so this is our answer for number 1, 0.75, 75 hundredths meters. Okay, let's look at number 2. We've got 802 centimeters is how many meters? Okay, well, let's do the same thing we did last time. There is 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Okay, so there we go. There's a better one. I'm going from 100 down to 1. So to get from 100 to 1, I divide by 100. right? So I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to divide by 100. Okay, so I'm dividing, which means I'm going to move my decimal to the left 2 times because there's 2 zeros. So here's my decimal, my invisible decimal that I'm going to throw in there, and I'm going to go to the left 2 times. 1, 2. So my answer here would be 8.02 meters. 8 200 meters. That's my answer for number 2. Okay. Let's skip. Let's do number 6. Okay, I've got 32 meters, and I'm converting it to millimeters, right? Okay, so let's go. We're going to go 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters, right? 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. So here I'm going to go from meters to millimeters again. To get from 1 meter to 1,000 millimeters, I times by 1,000. So I've got to do the same thing up here. I will times by 1,000. Okay, so 32 times 1,000 is 32,000. Now let's try that a different way. If I'm multiplying, which I did from here, to get to meters to millimeters, I times by 1,000. So if I'm multiplying, I'm going to move my decimal point to the right. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to show you right here. I've got 32. I have 3 zeros. So I'm going to move that decimal point to the right 3 times because I have 3 zeros. So my invisible decimal's right here, so I got to start right here. I'm going to go to the right 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And in those blank spots, I put a 0, 32,000. Or I know that 32 times 1,000 is 32,000, right? You guys got that. Okay. I think we're getting in a groove. I think it's getting a little bit easier here. Let's try one that might be a little bit harder. Number 7 is just the opposite of what we did. So you would divide by 1,000. But I'd like to look at number 9. Let's look at number 9 together. Okay. We are going 35 6 millimeters equals how many centimeters? Can you see that okay? Okay, so I'm going from millimeters to centimeters. Usually we've been going back to that unit of measure, the meter, but this time we're doing it a little bit differently. We're moving, here's our chart, over only one spot, right? We're going from millimeters to centimeters. Boom, boom. We're going from thousandths to 100ths. Well, that probably wasn't the best way to say that, but okay. So if I'm going to figure out this one, sorry, I'll make it so you can see. We are actually going to divide by 10 because I'm just moving 1 over. We're going from thousandths. My marker is running out. 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter to 100 centimeters. Okay, so to go from 1,000 to 100, we divide by 10. Okay, so to get from millimeters to centimeters, I'm going to divide by 10. All right, now if we're dividing, it means we move our decimal to the left. And if we're only dividing by 10, because we only moved 1 spot over, there's just 1 0. So we're going to move it to the left 1 time. So I'm going to take my decimal and move it to the left 1 time. We would get 3.56 or 3 56 hundredths. Okay? Okay. Now, let's do one word problem together, and we'll call it good, and I'll let you finish this up on your own, okay? And then we'll talk about it the next day. You guys are doing great. Thank you so much for sticking with me. This is a lot today. Let's do number 13. Okay. Lisa wants to frame her little brother's drawing as a gift to her mother. The rectangular drawing is 43 5/10 centimeters by 934 millimeters. How many centimeters of wood framing will she need? Okay. Well, when it has by in it, that is meaning that we multiply. But the problem is that they've given us a measurement in centimeters and a measurement in millimeters. We can't find a measurement based on that. What we're going to have to do is convert to one of those. Okay? So we have to decide if we want to do it in millimeters or centimeters, and I vote centimeters, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to change the 934 millimeters to centimeters. So we have 934 millimeters, and we want that to be equal to how many centimeters? We've got to change it to centimeters, right? Okay, well, we are just moving one spot over in our chart from millimeters to centimeters. So we're dividing by 10. We're dividing by 10, okay? So if we're doing that, it means that we're moving the decimal to the left one spot. So 934 millimeters is the same as 93 4/10 centimeters. Now we can work this problem out. We need to now figure out the rest. I'm going to have you pause the video, and we're going to see the rectangular drawing. 43 5 centimeters. Well, I actually did that wrong. What did I do wrong here? I need to go back and fix that one, and I'm gonna have to figure out why. Oh, it's framing, so it's, well, oh, that's why. Okay, Mama Mia, here we go. So this is 93.4, and this is 43.5. Let's go back, Mrs. Norman. Here's our frame. This is the drawing on the inside, and our frame looks like this. And it says that it's 43 5/10 by, and we changed this one. It was 934 millimeters, but we changed it to centimeters. So now it's 93.4 centimeters. Now, if I add all of this up and go around the side, that should be what we need. So 93 4/10 either times 2 or added up twice. 43 5/10 times 2, or put it in our equation twice, because what we need to do is add up all of our sides. So if this side is 93 4/10, then this side is going to be 93 4/10. And if this side is 43 5/10, then this side is going to be 43 5/10. And I put them all right here to add up. Okay. Now I could say 93.4 times 2 and add that to 43.5 times 2. Either way you do it, it's going to be just fine. There we go. We got it. And if you add all of those up, you should get 273 and 8/10 centimeters. Boom, we got it, right? Whoo-wee. We are having to use our brains today, ladies and gentlemen, definitely. Okay, that's what I'm gonna help you with today. You need to finish the rest on your own. Bless you. You can do this. You got this. Try it out. We'll talk a little bit more tomorrow and see what we need to do. If you have specific ones that you have questions on, put them in the chat, and I'll see if I can help out with any of those. But we went over some of the hardest ones on our homework page today, so I think you're going to be just fine. Okay? Love you guys. I will talk to you later. Have a great day.